Let's try that again. Good morning. Hey, it might not be morning when you're watching this, but as I'm filming, it is the Friday before the semester begins. My name's Brett Ulrich. I'm a professor of art and design at Mid-Michigan College, and I'll be your instructor in graphic design 1, that's Art 135, for the next 16 weeks. Well, 17 if you count spring break. Okay, now before the semester really begins, I want to take a moment to talk to you guys about the online version of this course. Okay, now it's a new experience for me as well, so if you're taking online classes for the first time, don't feel bad. I've taught face-to-face classes for 15 years, and I've taken a lot of online courses, but actually teaching them, that's kind of a new thing. So I want to make sure everything's perfectly clear as far as the user interface and where to find things that you will need for the class. Okay, now, first off, Moodle. Okay, now if you are looking at this video, you've probably found the Moodle page. Okay, it's the main way we faculty have of communicating with students when we're not in face-to-face classes, and in the online courses, it's the main mode of communication, period. So your average Moodle page, I'm looking at it right now on my screen here, over to one side. There are 3 main columns on the page. On the left is navigation and instructor information. Okay, the central column is basically a calendar where you'll find announcements, activities, reading assignments, links to videos, and assignments. Oh, and also where you will upload assignments. Okay, and on the right is latest class news, settings, and probably on your end the grade book. Okay, I see a slightly different version of the page than you guys do. Okay, now going back to that. Now in the central column of the Moodle page, all right, the first block, okay, is just general, and that's where you'll find, like I said, announcements, but also in that spot is a link to the technology requirements for taking an online course. Okay, it'll tell you what kind of speed you need for for your Wi-Fi and really technical stuff like that, really techie stuff. I don't really deal with that kind of thing. I'm not an IT guy. There's also a copy of the syllabus, so you want to make sure to take a look at that, read that over. It's got all the contact info that you'll need, the required text and materials, stuff like that. So be sure to read that over. Now, also, right next to that is an Adobe Illustrator installation guide. Adobe Illustrator is required for this course. Okay, so that will take you, if you click on that, that'll take you to Adobe's Illustrator page where you can download it. It'll help you set it up, do all that stuff to make sure it works all right. Okay, now that being said, Illustrator, yeah, it's a pretty expensive. It's a pretty expensive thing. They work on a monthly lease, and if you Google it, you can find student discounts for the lease. They do offer those, so you might want to look into that. Adobe Illustrator is also available on campus for free to any mid-student. Just got to go to one of the graphic design labs. Okay, there's one in Harrison. There's one in Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant, it's room 320. Okay, if there's not a class going on in there, feel free to go in and use it all you want. Shouldn't be locked. In Harrison, there's a lot of construction going on right now, so it's in transition right now. It was in 165. Not sure where it's going to be this coming semester because I haven't gotten the email about that yet. But Illustrator is available to students, and you're going to need Illustrator for this class. Okay. Now, also on this page in that central column in that block is a rubric, okay, for Art 135 Graphic Design 1 assignments. Please read this over carefully. It will give you an idea of what I am looking for, generally speaking, in all assignments. Okay, it's a general rubric that is that's used for graphic design courses pretty much across the board. It wasn't devised by me; it was actually devised by some brainiacs on the East Coast. That's but that their job is to think about these sort of things, and it actually does work really well. Having been a graphic designer and illustrator, for 30 years, give or take. A lot of the things that they talk about in the rubric are major concerns in graphic design, and they are things that go into making a good design. Okay? Now, right below that is an article from the American Institute of Graphic Artists, AIGA, which is an organization that I'm a member of, on how to give and receive a good design critique. Okay, because you will be required to look at all of your fellow students' progress for the week. When the class gets rolling, you will see an upload spot where it's actually it's not an upload spot, it's a discussion thing, discussion link where you can upload the work that you've done so far on your project, comment on it, and it will allow your fellow students to make comments back and develop a dialogue, and hopefully help you create better designs. The thing is, artwork of any kind is almost never produced in a vacuum. You gotta have some sort of give and take with other designers. Sometimes somebody will come up with something that you wouldn't even thought of, and it's like, oh, hey, boom, that's a great idea. That's what I need to do. That's what's going to make this design really pop. When I was working in advertising, I was in a room with a lineup of 8 cubicles, all with drawing boards, look kind of like that, and we were bouncing ideas off each other all the time. So the requirement to comment on other people's work, and that is how I'm going to take attendance, by the way. Don't look at it as a chore. Okay, look at it as an opportunity to really expand your own visual repertoire. Not to steal work from others, but to be inspired maybe by others to say, "Oh, hey, that was cool. How'd you do that?" And then they'll tell you some technique that they found on Illustrator or something like that, and then you can kind of make it your own. I'm not saying stealing, but get inspired by other people. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything else I need to talk about right now? Oh, as the weeks progress, okay, there are reading assignments. Okay, I'm looking at the January 5th to January 11th first week setup right here. The reading assignments they all come from this book, which is The Elements of Graphic Design by Alex W. White. Okay, it's a pretty decent book. It's a pretty quick read because look at all the illustrations and graphics. You can't have a graphic design book without a lot of illustrations. I think we're probably all visual learners in this field. But anyway, so you'll be reading a chapter or two. The first week, it's the preface and introduction that you need to read. Okay, so that's 2, but like I said, they're pretty short. But then what you need to do after that is answer the review questions of the week. Okay, there is a link there that'll take you to a little online quiz. It's just 5 questions, 5 points, but there's going to be one every week, except for when there's break. So you need to make sure you answer those questions. Don't forget that. Really important. Don't forget that because those points do add up. Just last semester, I had a couple of students that totally blanked on the review questions of the week, and they were on the verge of failing. I had to open the deadline back up for them to take those little 5-point quizzes and get their points back up. One guy wasn't going to graduate if he didn't, because he was on the verge of failing. Okay, so be sure to do that. Okay. Oh, and speaking of grades and that kind of thing, like I may have mentioned, on the right hand side of the Moodle page, you will find the grade book, and you want to make sure to check your grades, fairly often to see how you were doing. If you're anything like me, you don't like getting any surprises. All right. Okay. Well, I am going to let that go for now. Sign off. I will be signing back in here to create another video where I just basically introduce myself, and I'm actually going to have you guys do the same. You don't have to do a video. You can if you want. I am terrible at it. I don't enjoy the process at all. Really new at it, actually. But hey, younger generation, they're making little YouTube videos and little Instagram posts all the time. So yeah, if I can do it, anybody can. But if you want to just post some text or upload some artwork that you've done to introduce yourself and who you are and what kind of things you do, that's cool. All right. I will see you guys later.